rimani tu, non ti scordare di me, la vita mia è legata a te, c'è sempre un nido nel mio cuore per te, non ti scordare di me.
That I'm a big jewelry fan and I have got a lot of questions of where I get my jewelry. As you can see, I wear a lot of bracelets and rings. I thought this is the perfect opportunity to introduce this week's sponsor, which is Linear. Not a new sponsor, but if you've been following me since I was living in Japan, you already know about them. And why I'm excited for this collaboration is ever since back then, like a few months ago, I have been wearing their products consistently, especially these rings, and as you can see, the gold coating is still intact and I never take my rings off when washing my hands. For me, it's very important that the rings I wear are not gonna tarnish, and this is all due to Linear using high quality materials, and especially because this is not gold coating, it's called gold vermeil, which is much thicker than a regular gold coating, and it's obviously gonna last and keep its gold coating, which I think is super important. And also with every order, of course, you get this super cute little gift box, a dust bag, and another smaller dust bag to store your jewelry. I have picked out these super thin gold vermeil hoops. Now, the best thing about Linear is that they have something for every price point, but a common feature is that all materials are recycled. How pretty is that? I really like a good hoop. If you are looking to spoil yourself, we're gonna up it a notch. I'm gonna show you this beautiful chain that is in solid gold, and we're gonna put a little charm on it. So it's this beautiful solid gold chain, and on top of it I added this very delicate initial, my initial obviously, and this is embellished with teeny tiny diamonds, and Linear uses lab-grown diamonds, so you can be confident that your purchase is conflict free. So if you're looking for high quality jewelry that you can wear every day or for special occasions, maybe for yourself or for somebody you know now that the festivities are approaching, you can use my code for a special discount off, and I have also listed all of the products down below in the description box. Let's get back to the vlog.
I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about something that is really tormenting my mind, or I feel like this is something that I think about a lot, and maybe it has to do with the day and age we live in, or the work I do, or I think everybody perhaps can relate to this, but I downloaded TikTok a few weeks ago, and I have this very intense love and hate relationship, not only with TikTok, but I think TikTok definitely is the worst, and then Instagram, and then all of the other platforms, but perhaps most TikTok. And I think there's something so exhausting with short form content, and that's also perhaps why I resorted to YouTube, and perhaps even why you are watching this video. I know the initial motive for creating these platforms was to be able to connect people with the same interest with each other, and I think that aspect was out of the purest intentions, or I'd like to think so. But now looking at how social media, and I know this is really a broken record of how toxic it is, but I think just 2 minutes on TikTok, for me, it's the way we have lost sight. I think there's individual differences, but as a collective, I think we have completely lost sight of what is important. And I think maybe that's also why I'm so drawn to antiquity, because I truly believe that we are very naive as a society today to believe that we are the most successful or advanced, or that we somehow have the key to a successful and happy life. I truly disagree with that. I think when you look back at more ancient cultures, and I mean, I'm not expert in Egyptian philosophy, but I do think it's so interesting that the longest society that we know of have basically dedicated decades and generation to the concept of death. and the concept of life. So there's no denying that we live in a completely different society than we obviously did back then. And I'm a part of the problem as well. I mean, we're all part of the problem, but it really makes me just wonder why we're not evaluating more what our purpose is here. Instead, we're focusing on seeking the approval of other people, on microtrends, on Timo hauls, exposing our kids for profit. I think, unfortunately, maybe we have to relearn. I'm not really sure. But yeah, these were some of my thoughts. Welcome back. Oh Jesus, a lot of things haven't gone to plan this week. I have been in bed consistently for 2 days. Like, I haven't been able to leave the apartment because I've been feeling really bad. Just a lot of things that I had to cancel. Not only studying, but I had a few locations I wanted to bring you guys, and you know, just a lot of things that fell through. But today I'm finally feeling a bit better. Put on some makeup because I just feel like, you know, when you've been in bed and you haven't feeling good, you just want to like get a bit back on track, and that's how I feel today. So today's the first time I'm gonna go out in 2 days. I know, it's so exciting. I don't want to walk too far because I'm kind of like, oh, I don't feel 100% yet. And I thought a good idea would be to go to the Barberini museum. I mean, we're gonna see now how I feel when I go outside of the apartment. I think I'm gonna be able to go for a walk there because it's fairly close anyways, and it's a kind of a nice walk. All of that chit chat, I think this is gonna be a very chill vlog, so I hope you're into that, and go there and just, you know, browse around and get some sun. Yeah. Okay. Now you can see a bit better of my very unsophisticated outfit, but I do love this sweater, and it's from arthistory, but from many years ago. And then just this wool coat, I bought it from my dad's friend last year. I love it. It's just this long, straight, dark brown coat. I want to get more long coats. I have another beige one, but I don't have, well, I do have a black one as well, but I don't really use it. Yeah, then I'm wearing these leggings, like workout leggings. My New Balance that I hate, so I'm not gonna show them because I've been having them for so many, okay, I can show them. They're so old, and they don't look that old because I'm really good at cleaning my shoes, but they're really old, and I really need to get a pair of new like workout shoes that I can actually like work out in as well, because I've been trying to run in these and it's completely possible because they're so heavy. And then yeah, my Gucci Jackie bag, I bought it off Subito, which is kind of like the Italian Craigslist. I don't know, Craigslist? I think so. I don't know what you guys have over there in the States, but in Italy we have Subito, which is where you can buy like, I don't know, that's where people sell their cars and whatever. And I got it from this guy who was helping his mom clean out her closet, so I got it for like this crazy cheap price. I was living in Milan, and yeah, that's it. So also I'm speaking in the hallway today because I actually don't give a fuck anymore about being like quiet in this hallway, because we have a neighbor upstairs that is batshit crazy, and he throws these like casual after parties at like any given hour and any given day. And I mean, one time it was so bad, it was like a Wednesday to 6:30 a.m. and he was like loud music. And he had another party yesterday because I woke up at like 3 a.m. And there was like super loud music, and then you hear when people are like walking with heels, and it's just so messy, and I hate him. And yeah, it's an older guy. I don't know, he's not even that young. It's not like an 18-year-old. He's honestly such a loser. Okay, that's it, let's go.
L'amore è un sogno di cristallo che rende tutto limpido e più bello. È fatto di musica e silenzio, è un paradiso visto in trasparenza. Accanto a te, con
Okay, so we're at Palazzo Barberini. Now, I haven't scripted anything of what I'm gonna say, so just stick with me. But we're at Palazzo Barberini, which, if you didn't know, it's a museum that used to be a private residence for an aristocratic family here in Rome. And they feature a lot of Renaissance art, Baroque art, also a bit later, because as you may know, Rome became really relevant again in the 1600s. Before then, the artistic center of Italy was more concentrated in the northern part and especially in Tuscany. During my exchange, I actually focused specifically on the period between 13 to the end of 1500. And while there is a certain rebirth of more antique ideals, mythology, architecture with inspiration from temple facades, I do think there's an overwhelming amount of Christian art. Obviously, you have saints, biblical narratives and stuff, and it's not something that I'm super interested, which I'm also noticing when I now went back to Barberini, that I am really more drawn to the frescoes, as you can see here. And this room for me spoke volumes because it has more, as you can see, the inspiration on the walls was from obviously Pompeii and the frescoes that you find there. I do completely love the ceiling. I think it's absolutely beautiful. But what did I want to say with this is that it takes time to find the subject that you really enjoy. So again, Barberini has a lot of art from the Baroque period. You have Caravaggio, you have the use of chiaroscuro. It's a very dark and I would say more masculine way of painting, which I'm also not super drawn to. But as you can see here, you have a bit of the later period in Rome with the art from the 1700s that has obviously its center in France, where different colors and different subjects were more of relevance. So just because you choose a subject initially, it doesn't mean that it's something you have to stick to. And I just want to end with this room that I thought obviously was fabulous, but look at the wall paintings. And this is not something that I would have recognized if I hadn't done my exchange abroad. And I think this just speaks volumes for the risk of studying art history only from a Western-centric perspective, because if I hadn't gone on my exchange, I would not have been familiar with the East Asian repertoire, and obviously the paintings or the tapestry on the walls was clearly inspired from the Chinese paintings. So a future art historian, I believe, should be able to have a really holistic view of different culture and different types of movements and styles all throughout the world.
Hello everybody, I'm back from my endeavors today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still super dizzy, like something's wrong with me, but it's better. And I did go to the museum, as you could see, and I did though take the bus home because I'm like, girl, like it's already a stretch, like considering how I've been feeling. I was in the mood to cook, and you know, I'm pretty blessed here because we have somebody, not me, that's very good at cooking. But you know, I can pull off some recipes. And today I was in the mood to make tikka masala. So I have been marinating chicken with a variety of different spices that are currently in the fridge. And then I have also prepped my own, this is a cashew cream, and I have done this before and it's really good. I can really recommend it, and it's super easy. You just blend the cashew nuts and water and it creates this fabulous cream. What else? I have also made my, well, I just put it in, but I made this garlic and ginger paste. I mean, I kind of like this setup. Maybe I should do more cook content. No, I'm not. Whatever. But I'm gonna blend this up, and then we're also gonna make a banana bread. And I have a banana bread that I really enjoy. Now I saw this girl on Instagram who made a banana bread with dates, and I happen to have a lot of dates in my pantry. I mean, not that many, quite many, because I use these every morning for my yogurt bowls, so we're gonna use that. And there was some butter, and I have two ripe bananas, so we're gonna put some more spices in here. I usually, like with Italian or whatever, you know, cooking I'm familiar with, I don't need to use measurements, but this is a cuisine I'm not very well familiar with. So a bit of that, tablespoon like that. Cumin, yeah. Okay, so far this is the chicken. I've done it in separate rounds, so it gets really, like, I don't know, not too soggy, I guess. And while this is cooking, I have the rice here, and I've also boiled milk. This is almond milk, because now I'm gonna pour it on the dates for the banana bread.
Però non so sinceramente come si beve. Esatto.
C'hai il naso sporco di panna. Ancora. Alba.
Guys, I can't stop eating the focaccia I made. Like, for being gluten-free, I have to say it was so good, but of course it gets a lot drier like just one day later, which is a shame with gluten-free bread, but should have probably put it in the freezer. But also, side note, I went completely ham and damaged my skin yesterday, so I have this super cute pimple patch that I got from Jackie, which is a Miffy. I wanted to actually continue on this theme of art history and, you know, me sharing a bit of my thoughts and also my book recommendations, because you have been asking me about how to get into art history, maybe if you're not studying it, or just in general book recommendations. So I'm gonna start with two books that are more general overviews, and then I'm gonna go more into specifics. So as you may know, I concentrate on gender theory. And by the way, I have these new glasses. I put the glass of my old reading glasses, but that have different frames, into these new frames. It's so nice. They even like stretch when you put them on. I only use them when on my computer and reading, because I get like tension headaches, so it doesn't have that much of a strength to it, but I wouldn't use it like on an everyday basis, because far away it's super blurry. Anyways, let's get back to the recommendations. The Story of Art by Ernst Gombrich. This is quite a thin book, so it's great if you want a good overview. It doesn't touch much on art history outside of the Western world, just a brief passage, I believe, of Asia Minor and one chapter or so on Asia, so keep that in mind. If you want something even more comprehensive that we worked with during my first year of the Bachelor, I can recommend you this book. It goes through the major developments in global art. The same thing with this one, it remains pretty Western centric. Now, when I was in Japan, I did study Japanese art history, and I can recommend this book by Penelope Mason if you are interested in the Japanese art history. For the Chinese one, I mostly studied culture and history, so I don't have a good book to recommend there. But please, if you do study Asian art, let me know, because I would be really interested in reading about that as well. I'll just go back to this one. Gombrich is a very famous name in art history. I have one of his other books as well that's called Art and Illusion, which more focuses on how images work. He has a very engaging voice and it's pretty easy to read as well. So this one and Art and Illusion, I have it in my bookshelf, I can recommend as well. Yeah, here it is. Staying within the field of service, we have this one called Women, Art and Society by Whitney Chadwick. Especially interesting if you focus on before the modernist movement, but also there's a lot of contemporary art in this one as well. It highlights women artists, gender representation. It's a very condensed book, but there might be some chapters in it that can be useful. So let's go more into gender theory and feminist theory. Gender theory is something that became relevant in art history around the 70s. So a lot of these writers have published seminal studies and similar from the 70s and forward. And I'm gonna start with, I have 3 books here. Now there are some that I don't have right now because I studied them mainly at the library, but we'll get through them as well. So I'm gonna start with this one, which is written by Linda Nochlin, and it's called Representing Women. Now, Linda Nochlin has written a very interesting survey in the early 70s that was called Why Have There Been No Great Female Artists? And in this one, she continues in that field, how female subjects are constructed in art, and she uses especially social history. I got this book when I was about to write an essay concerning one of these subjects, and I ended up not choosing Linda Nochlin, but I chose this one instead. This is Linda Need's The Female Nude. This one is a bit more recent. It was published in the early 90s by Linda Need. And this one is a super interesting book, especially if you focus on the naked female body and how it has been portrayed in art. Kenna Clark uses basically the nude as an aesthetic choice, while Need focuses more on the cultural and ideological aspect of the female body. Now, finally, another huge name within feminist art history is Griselda Pollock, and this is Vision and Differences. Now, she has also co-authored another book with Rosika Parker called Old Mistresses that I can also recommend, and that I also draw a bit upon now actually in my current thesis. Not only feminism, but also psychoanalysis. She analyzes both representation, but also how these bodies and women are viewed. So the actual spectatorship, which is an interesting angle. Since I don't study modern or contemporary art, some of these theories can be kind of hard to applicate on more antique art, and in my case Roman art. There is one famous scholar called Natalie Boymale-Campbell who has specifically studied gender theory and female representation in Roman art, which I lean a lot on. Otherwise, if you're interested in antique societies and cultures, I can recommend you these 2 books, and those are the ones I don't have because I study them mostly at the library. Gillian Clark and Elaine Phantom, and both of these are great if you want to specialize more on gender theory and in general more female critical lens while also exploring antiquity. That was it. Thank you so much for watching this week's vlog. This one is a bit late. I think I uploaded like 2 weeks ago, but things take time sometimes. And if you want more of my content while I'm not uploading here, make sure to follow me on Instagram. There's my IG. Maybe this inspires you to give me a follow. I don't know. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in next